Hi, it's me again. So this is part 2 of my Canadian healthcare experience over the past 4 years. So if you've seen part 1, or if you want to watch part 1, it's just a general overview about how I feel about the Canadian healthcare system and what I don't or do like about it, and my comparison between this system here and Japan and Jamaica, where I've lived before. So for this part, I could have talked about it in the other video, but it was too long and I have my notes, so I just wanted to go through in details. This is about going to the emergency room in Canada, and it was rough. It was rough. So let me just get into it. So these are my notes, because while I was there waiting for all eternity, I was taking notes about everything a step of the way. So backtrack. Why did I go to the emergency room? Okay, so in early December, I caught COVID, and TMI alert, I had a very bad bout of diarrhea. It was very, very, very bad. And then that just aggravated an underlying issue I had from before. And let's just say things were happening that shouldn't be happening. So I called my family doctor, told her what was happening, and she said go to the emergency room immediately because it was a big concern, and she wanted to make sure it wasn't something major, because she knows the underlying condition I have. I recognized it immediately for what it was, but just in case it was something else, she said go to the hospital, go to the emergency room immediately, go check it out, don't delay. I did delay because I finished my shift at work, and then luckily I work right across from the emergency room, so I just went there right after work. I think I left an hour early. But I went after work, and I went by myself. That was mistake number 1. The good thing I did do before I went there was charge my phone, because I knew I would be there for a while, but I didn't anticipate how long exactly. So the good thing I did was charge my phone. If you find yourself having to go to the emergency room and you have time like I did, charge your phone, because you're going to need it. And don't go by yourself, which I did, because I don't like to ask for help. I don't like asking people to come and help me. If I can do it by myself, I'm going to do it by myself, and I think that was a mistake. But anyways, so I got there at 5:30, and this was the first time I was going to the emergency room or using this particular hospital. For my other surgeries, I use St. Michael's. Is it St. Michael's or St. Joseph's? A different hospital. I don't remember the name. So this was the first time I was going to that hospital, so I had to register. So 5:30 I got there. Oh, I brought my health card. So like I said, in Canada, you need your health card because otherwise you can't get treatment. You need a health card. So I always walk with my health card. It's always in my wallet. I always have it on me. Good thing I had it on me that day because I had to go to the emergency room. So I presented my health card, showed them that, and gave them emergency contact number, and registered with their system. For 10 minutes, I waited until my name was called to go to triage. So when I got there, it was just the first part of the area. When I registered, then they sent me to triage. They took my blood pressure, and then they sent me over. So then I went to the rapid assessment clinic. I got there at 5:30. Oh, I got there at 4:30. I got to the rapid assessment clinic at 5:09. 5:09. And I sat there for an hour and a half. I sat there and looked at the wall, looked at other people, heard a lady like vomiting behind me. Fun times. But I literally waited for an hour and a half because I see here 6:30 my name gets called to see the nurse. I answer some questions, the same questions I asked before I got there at the triage nurse, and I went in, and then they said let's do some blood work and put in an IV. And I'm like, an IV? I don't like needles. I hate needles. I don't like IVs, especially because they hurt. This man popped in an IV and it hurt my arm the whole time I was there. And I at one point I wanted to rip it out myself. But they put it in just in case I needed like further like instant medical treatment, just in case. So at that point I started to get a little scared. But it was alright. It was alright. So, called me, got the blood work, draw blood, got the IV in. That was at 6:35. So I went back down at at 6:43 and started to wait again. And wait I did. I waited and waited and waited until 9:15. 9:15, almost 2 hours, over 2 hours later, 9:15. That's when they finally called me to go into the exam room. So I literally by myself sit down. This is after work. This is after going to work for an entire day. I have not eaten anything. I had not eaten anything since 12 o'clock that day. So I was hungry. I was bored. I was sad. My phone is a good thing I charged it because that was the only thing keeping me like sane, because I was just on it scrolling. So 9:15, I went into the exam room. The doctor did not show up until 10:30 in the night, and that was because I came out like around 10:15, and I was like, excuse me. At that point I'm like weak. I'm like, excuse me, is the doctor coming soon? I haven't eaten anything since 12 o'clock. Which is why, honestly, if you go into the emergency room, ask somebody to come with you so that they can at least go out and get you some food, some refreshments. No water, no food since 12 o'clock. And this is now 10 o'clock in the night. So I was dying. And they're like, sorry for the delay. They were very polite about it also. So they were kind, traditional Canadians. And they said the doctor's coming to see you soon. The doctor came in at 10:30, finally. Very nice doctor, very professional. Went ahead and examined me, asked me all the relevant questions, and was like, okay, based on what you said, based on what I'm feeling, it's not what we think. It's not an emergency, so, you're not dying. And after that, I think he finished up, he was pretty quick. So that finished up around 11, and then I had to wait for him to do the actual report and give me back the papers, like the physical copy of the papers of the report, to see what happened, and then I got to go. So I finally left at 11:07. So I got there at 4:30, and I left at 11:07. And to its credit, this hospital, on their website, they have the waiting room times for the hospital emergency rooms. And it had told me before 5 hours. And I was like, 5 hours? Come on. They were correct. It was accurate. It literally took about 5-6 hours. But at the end of the day, I went to the emergency room. I showed my health card. I went in. Waiting was really a pain in the ass. But I didn't have to pay for nothing. It was free. I walked out. No, my blood work was free. The IV was free. I walked out. So that's honestly one of the main reasons why I'm like, yes, I may have to wait 6 hours, but you have to wait those ridiculous emergency room hours anywhere you go, except for Japan. I did not have to wait that long when I was in Japan, but that's Japan. Japan will never like y'all other countries will never compare to the healthcare system in Japan. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, anywhere else you go, those are the ridiculously long hours you have to wait in an emergency room. It was not fun, but at the end of the day, I never have to pay nothing for it. So, I think that will conclude how I feel about the Canadian healthcare system. And the hospital, oh my gosh. I made the right decision to go to this particular hospital. I guess I can say Toronto General. I went to Toronto General Hospital. And I had the option to go to Mount Sinai too, because they're both in the same area. But my spirit told me to go to Toronto General. The first part of the emergency room where you register was kind of grungy, sketchy. But when you went to the actual rapid assessment clinic, that area is brand new. They have a whole this part of the hospital opened up like less than 4 years ago. Nice. The chairs were nice. The waiting room was nice. I think I'll put in a clip here how nice it was. The nurses stations were brand new. And it was nice. So if you have any emergencies, go to the Toronto General Emergency Room. That's my recommendation. Just because I had to wait there for 5 hours, but it was, I was comfortable there. It wasn't, you know, I didn't feel gross or anything, minus the lazy lady hacking up blood behind me, but that's a different story. So yeah, so that concludes my impression of the Canadian healthcare system. I know it's a very controversial topic because a lot of Canadians are really having a hard time with it. Again, like I said in the first video, I'm coming from a place of privilege where I could literally just walk over to this hospital after work and go and get my healthcare completed, treated, healthcare services done. So I know that. So what I will say is, if you live in Toronto, you shouldn't be complaining about the healthcare system. You really shouldn't. You really shouldn't, because other people are suffering outside of the major cities. But yeah, like I said, comment in the comment section. Be kind. Talk about your experience, just to give people a general idea where, if you're from this section, what you have to look forward to. But again, I'm gonna say it's much better than the U.S. healthcare system. I don't care what anybody else has to say. Big up Canada for that. Not as good as Japan. But yeah. Alright, so until next time. Bye.